Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. Let's talk about the story of Eastern Wu during the Three Kingdoms period. And take a journey into this southern land. We'll explore how the Eastern Wu regime rooted itself south of the Yangtze River, developed over time, and laid the foundation for the economic prosperity of southern China in later centuries. If we look at a map of the Three Kingdoms period, we'll notice something interesting. The territory of Eastern Wu was not much smaller than that of Chao Wei. So why did Liu Bei once say to Sun Quan, "The Chao clan has already taken 2/3 of the realm"? The reason is actually quite simple. At that time, China's core region was concentrated in the Yellow River Basin, a densely populated, economically developed center of politics and culture. Meanwhile, the southern regions, due to their climate and natural environment, such as hot, humid weather, dense forests, and mountainous terrain, were known as lands of miasma, poorly developed and sparsely populated. So even though Eastern Wu had a large territory, the usable and developed land was quite limited. Not nearly as impressive as the map might suggest. It was somewhat like the state of Chu during the spring and autumn period. Chu controlled vast lands south of the Yangtze, but only about 1/10 of it was actually useful, making it appear somewhat bloated. However, the strength of Eastern Wu lay in its initiation of large-scale development in the Jiangnan region, which laid the groundwork for the southern economy of China in the future, turning Jiangnan into a land of wealth and talent for generations to come. So, how did Eastern Wu accomplish this? And how did it leverage its geographical advantages to develop unique systems that could stand up to the powerful Chao Wei regime? Let's uncover this story step by step. Before the Battle of Red Cliffs, Sun Quan had already firmly secured most of the Han Dynasty's Yongji region, building on the foundation laid by his elder brother, Sun Che. After the Battle of Red Cliffs, Eastern Wu's influence further expanded into Jinghao. Later, some powers in the Lingnan region also submitted to Sun Quan. After Liu Bei entered Shu, tensions emerged between Liu Bei and Sun Quan. Seizing the opportunity, Sun Quan took back Jinghao and successfully fended off Liu Bei's counterattack. From then on, the vast region south of the Yangtze River and east of Sichuan came under Sun Quan's rule. In the year 229, assessing the situation, Sun Quan formally declared himself emperor and established the Eastern Wu regime. At the time, the empire was divided into 13 provinces, most of which were concentrated in the North China Plain and the Guangdong region. South of the Yangtze, there were only 4 provinces: Yangzhou, Jinghao, Jiaozhou, and Guangzhou. This also reflected the population distribution of the time. By the time Sun Quan proclaimed himself emperor, Eastern Wu already controlled Yangzhou, Jinghao, and Jiaozhou. Later, to facilitate governance, the northern part of Jiaozhou was separated to form Guangzhou. Simply put, the territory of Eastern Wu can be divided into several key parts. First, Yangzhou, especially the southern Jiangsu and northern Zhejiang areas. This was the economic and human resources core of Eastern Wu. Second, Jinghao, a strategic and contested region. Third, Jiaozhou and Guangzhou, home to many ethnic minority groups. And finally, a special group, the Shanhua people, who lived scattered throughout the mountainous areas of the southeast, and often clashed with the Eastern Wu government. Let's start with Yangzhou. Yangzhou was the most important territory for Eastern Wu, with its core in the city of Jianye, known today as Nanjing. Jianye was not only the capital of Eastern Wu, but also laid the foundation for the later Eastern Jin and Southern dynasties, which is why Nanjing is famed as the ancient capital of 6 dynasties. Geographically, although Yangzhou covered a vast area, only a small portion was truly usable. Its core regions were the Taihu Plain near Jianye, and the Ningbo Shaoxing Plain in northern Zhejiang. These two areas were the very foundation of Eastern Wu's Jiangdong base. In addition, the Yuzhong commandery on the Poyang Lake Plain was also very important, as it connected water transportation between Yangzhou and Jinghao, making it a strategic stronghold. However, other parts of Yangzhou, such as the Wui Mountains along the southeastern coast and the hills of southern Anhui, were sparsely populated and home to large numbers of the Shanhua people. These areas were difficult for the Sun Wu government to effectively control. Overall, the areas of Yangzhou that Sun Wu could effectively utilize were mainly concentrated along transportation routes and in plains suitable for large-scale agricultural production, such as the Taihu Plain, the Poyang Lake Plain, and a few scattered counties along the southern Zhejiang and Fujian coasts. Other regions were restricted by natural conditions and remained underdeveloped. Speaking of the natural environment, the climate during the Three Kingdoms period had a significant impact on Sun Wu's development. At that time, the world was in a relatively cold climatic phase. While northern nomadic tribes invaded the central plains, the southern region saw this as an opportunity for development. Before the Three Kingdoms, the southern climate was relatively warm, on average about 1 degree Celsius higher than today. The hot and humid conditions led to rampant mosquitoes, widespread swamps, and a high incidence of diseases, earning the south the name Land of Miasma. However, by the Three Kingdoms period, the climate began to cool, making the Jiangnan region more suitable for farming. Yields of rice and wheat increased, and with the influence of human activity, the environment in Jiangnan became more livable. It gradually transformed into the picturesque land of rivers and lakes we know today. In terms of agricultural economy, the region known as the Three Wus, Wu Commandery, Kuaiji, and Danyang, had already seen preliminary development as early as the Spring and Autumn and Warring States periods. The state of Wu had even established its capital in what is now Suzhou. Later, during the late Eastern Han, many refugees fled south from the Central Plains, bringing not only population but also advanced agricultural techniques. During the Sun Wu period, great emphasis was placed on farmland and irrigation projects. For example, the water networks around Taihu Lake were renovated to irrigate large areas of farmland. The Jian Lake, Jianhu, in today's Shaoxing is a remnant of ancient hydraulic engineering. In those days, it was even praised as the 800-li Jian Lake, showing the vast extent of its irrigation capabilities. Sun Wu also took inspiration from Chao Wei's Tunshan system, military agricultural colonies. Due to prolonged warfare between the two states, many civilians along the Jianghuai frontier were relocated inland, leaving only military strongholds in the frontline zones. To support the logistical needs of these garrisons, Sun Wu established military colonies along the front to produce grain and other supplies. Beyond agriculture, Sun Wu also saw development in shipbuilding, salt production, and commerce. Logically, with nearly 60 years of governance, the population in the south under Sun Wu should have increased, or at least not declined dramatically. However, according to historical records, the area under Sun Wu during the late Eastern Han had over 9 million people. By the time the Western Jin conquered Wu, its registered population had dropped to just 2.3 million. So where did all those people go? This leads us to the issue of the great aristocratic families, Shijia Dazu, of Sun Wu. The founder Sun Jian hailed from the Huai River region. He, his brothers, and the powerful families he aligned with after taking over Jiangdong, such as the four noble clans of Wu, Gu, Lu, Zhu, and Zhang, all needed to be placated. To consolidate his rule, Sun Wu implemented a hereditary military system, allowing generals to maintain their own private troops, Byuku, who would follow central commands during wartime. This system nurtured a number of talented military figures and helped expand the Tunshan program. However, it also caused the power of these aristocratic families to grow rapidly. Many people were hidden from official census records by these great families, meaning they were not counted in the government's household registry. As a result, the actual tax-paying population was much smaller than the real population. after the Western Jin unified the country. The implementation of the 9-rank system, Jiupin further allowed these great families to monopolize government positions, officially ushering in China's era of aristocratic dominance. Next, let's take a look at Jingzhou. Jingzhou was known as a place all military powers must fight over. Interestingly, though, before the late Han and Three Kingdoms period, Jingzhou had rarely been a major focus of contention. As early as the Spring and Autumn and Warring States periods, Jingzhou was one of the core regions of the state of Chu, whose capital was located near present-day Jingzhou city. However, during the Han Dynasty, Jingzhou was sparsely populated. For example, in the area of modern-day Wuhan, there were only a little over 4,000 households at the beginning of the Eastern Han period, a very small population, with limited strategic value. But by the late Han period, as the southern population and economy grew, Jingzhou's geographic importance increased significantly. After the Battle of Red Cliffs, warfare reached the Yangtze River basin. As the choke point of the middle reaches of the Yangtze, Jingzhou could cut off communication between Shu Han and Chao Wei, naturally making it a must-contend-for place among military powers. Later, after relations between Sun Quan and Liu Bei deteriorated, Sun Wu began to place great emphasis on the defense of Jingzhou. In 221 AD, Sun Quan even personally moved the capital to Azhou and renamed it Wuchang, marking the first use of the name Wuchang. During his 8 years in Wuchang, Sun Quan not only successfully prevented Liu Bei from reclaiming Jingzhou but also repelled attacks from Chao Wei. This greatly promoted economic development in the Jianghan region. The relocation of the capital to Wuchang brought with it a large number of artisans from Jianya, causing the small town to rapidly grow into a manufacturing and commercial hub of Jingzhou. The area around Wuchang was rich in iron and copper ore, and it soon became Sun Wu's smelting center. To this day, many bronze mirrors from the Sun Wu period have been unearthed in Hubei and Hunan, attesting to the advanced industrial level of the time. In the defense of Jingzhou and Yangzhou, Chaisang County, near present-day Jiujiang in Jiangshi, was Sun Wu's most important river defense stronghold. Chaisang was located at the boundary between the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River. At the time, Poyang Lake and the northern lakes were not yet fully separated, and the Yangtze flowed through them, forming southern and northern lakes. To the north was the Debi Mountains, and to the south, the Luoshao Mountains. The Yangtze River, running east-west, was the only route for both advance and retreat. If Chaisang fell, Sun Wu's Jingzhou and Yangzhou would be cut off from each other. Sun Quan took this very seriously, strengthening the defenses around Chaisang by building fortifications, assigning the crown prince to garrison the area, and entrusting General Lu Sun with its defense. Unfortunately, after Sun Quan and Lu Sun both passed away, Sun Wu descended into internal strife. The last emperor of Sun Wu, Sun Hao, in an effort to consolidate power, dismantled the garrisons in Wuchang and reduced troop strength across various camps. This gave the Western Jin an opportunity. They swiftly captured Jingzhou, then advanced down the Yangtze and took Jianya, leading to the fall of Sun Wu. Now let's talk about Jiaozhou and Guangzhou. Jiaozhou was the southernmost administrative region of the Han Dynasty, covering what is now Guangdong, Guangxi, and northern Vietnam. At the time, it was considered a remote and uncivilized land of the southern barbarians. Due to the chaos of war, many people from the Central Plains fled to Jiaozhou, bringing Han culture with them. Jiaozhou's governor Shi Xie ruled with clarity and fairness, winning the loyalty of many. As a result, Jiaozhou's economy gradually developed. Later, Shi Xie submitted to Sun Quan and regularly paid tribute to Eastern Wu. After Shi Xie's death, his wife attempted to seize power for herself but was defeated by Sun Wu forces. Jiaozhou was then officially incorporated into the territory of Sun Wu. To facilitate administration, Sun Quan carved out the northern part of Jiaozhou and established Guangzhou, marking the first recorded appearance of the name Guangzhou in historical records. Geographically, both Jiaozhou and Guangzhou were covered with hills and mountains. The only habitable areas were the Pearl River Delta and the Red River Delta. These deltas, located near the coast and influenced by sea winds, had humid climates and lush vegetation, ideal for settlement. Sun Wu's shipbuilding industry developed rapidly in Guangzhou. The Pearl River Delta, far from the turmoil in the Central Plains, gradually prospered and later became one of the starting points of the maritime Silk Road. Today, Guangzhou is one of China's top-tier cities, a development that owes much to the efforts of the Sun Wu regime in developing the southern regions. A special mention must be made of the Shaua people. Although the Shaua were not within Sun Wu's official administrative divisions, their influence on the state was significant. They were a major source of population for Sun Wu through forced conscription, and they posed an even greater threat than Chao Wei at times. The Shaua mainly inhabited mountainous areas in Yangzhou, particularly at the junction of present-day Anhui, Jiangshi, Zhejiang, and Fujian provinces. There is no definitive record of the Shaua's origins in historical texts, but scholars believe they may have been a mix of Sinicized ancient Yu tribes, Han Chinese fleeing war, and mountain-dwelling bandits. The Shaua defied imperial authority, refused to pay taxes or serve in the military, and some even raided nearby areas, making them a primary target of Sun Wu's suppression. Unlike the minority tribes pacified by Shu Han in Nanzhong, the Shaua were already largely Sinicized and thus suitable for incorporation into state governance. Sun Wu generals considered suppressing the Shaua an important task. Thanks to the hereditary military command system, they were allowed to maintain private armies. Conquering the Shaua not only increased the tax-paying population under the state but also strengthened their own power. Throughout nearly 60 years of Eastern Wu's existence, the campaign against the Shaua never ceased. This process also trained a generation of young generals, the most outstanding of whom was Zhuge Ke. He employed a using barbarians to control barbarians strategy. At a time when the Shaua were running out of food, he led troops to harvest their rice fields, forcing their surrender. Within 3 years, he subdued over 100,000 Shaua people and gained prominence in the court. It is said that when Sun Wu surrendered to Western Jin, out of its 230,000 troops, 100,000 were Shaua. The number of Shaua registered in official household records may have been in the hundreds of thousands. By the Eastern Jin and the Northern and Southern dynasties, as northern populations migrated southward, the Shaua gradually became fully assimilated into Han Chinese society and disappeared from historical records, becoming part of the Greater Chinese family. According to historians, although the Sun Wu regime controlled a vast territory, it was constrained by natural geography and had a significantly smaller population than Chao Wei. Its core regions were divided by mountains and rivers, and only the Yangtze River connected its main densely populated areas. This is one reason Sun Wu placed such importance on river defense. In the more southern regions of Jiaozhou and Guangzhou, aside from the coastal deltas, much of the land was inhabited by ethnic groups who did not acknowledge central authority. Through developing irrigation agriculture and forcibly recruiting from the Shaua population, Sun Wu objectively promoted the development and ethnic integration of the South. This foundation reached its peak during the Southern Song dynasty, achieving the famous economic pattern of, when Suzhou and Lake Tai are prosperous, the whole country has enough. By the late Yuan and early Ming dynasties, Zhu Yuanzhang seized the opportunity created by the southward shift of the economic center and unified China from south to north. It was Sun Wu that laid the groundwork for all of this. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.